for us, I think we've got you got all the elements. I think we've got guys that are capable of scoring. We got guys that can really, that can check. We've got we've got good goaltending, and I think we've got a good mix of D with some guys that know how to play shutdown roles and guys that know how to play from an offense with some offensive tempo. So for us, I think we've got all the pieces that you look for. The big question for that every coach is going to have is, are all the pieces going to deliver?
Going back to what you were just discussing, it would be either Davidson or Dak, right? Those would be the two defensemen.
Well, those are the only two guys that we can even bring in.
Right.
So
those would be one of those two if they did it.
Yeah. If they did it, it would be those are the only guys that we could add, and we took we rolled the dice. Obviously, we feel that if we go long, if we have a long playoff run. Those are two guys that we silly not to have to be a part of it. I think they help push us over the edge in a lot of different areas. So, I don't know. Right now, I think we're definitely good enough to win games 1 and 2. Are we good enough right now to win games 3, 4, and 5 after with that being 5 games in 6 nights? Well, we got some young guys that haven't played that type of a scenario, so. Some of the guys, both those guys have played in those scenarios that you mentioned. So, with Deck and Davey, they both have played 3 and 3 situations and 4 and 5 and 6 games in 8 nights. And so, obviously, they're a little bit more used to it. So that kind of concerns me a little bit with our team right now. But it's not a huge issue. At the end of the day, those are both teams are battling it, and the adrenaline really seems to be able to take over, especially in the first round series.
Ever since Ryan Mougenot left here for Las Vegas, did it ever cross your mind on how fun it would be to face him in a playoff series?
Yeah, I don't think it's very fun because I don't want to lose to him because he'll probably have a lot of chirps available for an extended period of time that I don't want to listen to. But it's I think Matt O'Dette not making the playoffs and being released as the head coach of Bakersfield, that was. That's devastating to me just from a friend standpoint. And, obviously I can't help but think that I had a hand in that because of, because we obviously compete head to head. So same thing with Mooj, you never want a guy's season to end, but I don't think it's overly enjoyable other than it's fun. It's fun to compete, and, we know it's part of the business. So it will be exciting for us, both of us, I think, together to go after one another and try to see who's the, who comes out on top. And so put it this way, I'm working extra hard.
There's not only the friendship between you and Mooch and him being your assistant coach. There's some players, Blackwater and Pokovic, and of course Hux is over there. All those years as your assistant, the style of play is sometimes pretty similar. So there are, there is a fun kind of familiarity to this series.
Yeah, well, we played 8 games, and I think every single one was a 1-goal game, if I'm not mistaken. There might have been a 2-goal game in there, and I was probably involved in empty net. So close games, both teams that I think both teams don't disappear easily. They stay in games. Vegas was the best third period team in the league. They had the most wins when trailing going into the third period. Pretty important stat that they're a team that doesn't go away and they know how to win. When it gets tight. For us, we had a real good record, but both at home and on the road in terms of playing in 1-goal games. And so I expect, and obviously we had some success in finishing out some of those games against Vegas. Some of them were in the shootout in those different scenarios, and that doesn't obviously happen this time of year. But I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think both teams are similar. Obviously, I know him real well. I know some of his personnel real well, and he knows some of our personnel real well, and he knows me very well. So it just seems like it's going to be a good matchup, and it's going to be a close one. You would think the same with Utah and Ontario because Kevin Colley and Jason Christie worked together, and that game got out of hand early. 6 minutes in, and Utah was down 3-0, but they battled back, made it 3-2, and it was a close game the rest of the way at times. So it's again, the funny things happen in playoffs. So I don't think you can duplicate statistics and see regular season records when you're talking about two teams that are so evenly matched. It's going to be a tough series for us to win for sure.